guys, welcome back to Shutterbug Club. I'm your host, Sue, and we have a guest with us today. This is Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Kels- I feel so bad. Is your last name Marie? I forgot to ask you
No,
how you
you're
want to
good.
be introduced.
I go by Kelsey Marie for photography stuff, so you can
Okay,
just say, or you can also just say
perfect.
Kelsey. Yeah.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
Kelsey.
Yeah. Yep, that's perfect.
Kelsey is a senior photographer, so we're going to be talking about senior rep teams. Surprise! This is like my third episode on senior rep teams. I've been doing a lot, but honestly, it's so cool to just talk with different people and see how everyone does their team differently. And I'm really just trying to create an amazing senior rep team and just have an amazing experience with that. So I'm really excited to talk with Kelsey and hear what kind of tips she has to share with us. And Kelsey, your team looks so fun. Like, I've only been following Kelsey for a short time, but the things that she shares on social media really highlight her team in a way that is just so energetic and full of girls that really support each other and like hype each other up. And so I'm like, I wish I could be on your team, Kelsey. Like, I want to go back to high school.
I love it.
Kelsey, why don't you start by just introducing yourself a little bit and how you got into photography?
Okay, hi. So my name is Kelsey, and I live in Richmond, Virginia. I have been doing photography since high school. I'm one of those like basic stories where I've always had a camera in hand since I was little. But since high school, I've really just had a love and passion for doing senior photography. I also went to college full time. I went to James Madison University, go Dukes, and that is where I really hit the ground running with my business. And once I graduated college, I went into photography full time as a business. So yeah, I've been doing it for a very long time. I'm going into my 6th year as a senior rep team, but I've been doing
Wow,
photography
six
kind of,
years.
yeah, it's super exciting. And this is like my biggest year coming into 2026.
Wow.
So super excited. Yeah, and I also have dabbled in wedding photography, brand photography, all the things as we all do. But I have just really found that seniors just like make my heart explode. And it's just like what sets my soul on fire. And so I just truly, truly love it. And that's kind of where I got inspired and have just loved it ever since I started.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular that really made you decide you wanted to do senior reps, like having that team?
Yeah, so when I got started with senior photography or like really like getting into it, like learning more about it, I used to live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I don't know if you know who Hope Taylor is, but she used
I
to live,
don't.
she's a senior photographer educator. If you don't follow her, go follow her. She's amazing. But
Okay.
she also lived in Fredericksburg at the time, and she had a huge senior rep team. So that's where I first heard about it. When I was in high school, I had no idea what it was. I had never heard about it. But when I found out about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish this is something that I had when I was a senior. And so kind of like found inspiration in that. And then once I got started, actually my first year having a team was like when I started it was in the middle of the pandemic. So it's definitely a weird time. Body, definitely like a weird thing kind of to get started during the pandemic, but it also has changed my business and changed my life in so many ways. So the reason that I just like really love my senior rep team is that, I mean, kind of the whole purpose behind my team, there's kind of like the business side, but also the more like personal side is I just love getting to know the girls like really intentionally and one-on-one. And kind of my goal behind the team is to just build confidence in the girls, which is something that I wish I had when I was a senior in high school. High school is so hard as it is. So I think
Hmm.
if I can just create a community that really just inspires them to like be leaders between their friends and in their communities, but just also build confidence in their body image and all the things they're going through. That's just kind of my whole heart and soul behind the team. So
Yeah, I love that. That's very similar to why I started too, because I was so shy in high school, and I feel like something like this would have really helped bring me out of my shell and just like
yes,
feel like
me
you
too.
have somebody who is cheering you on. So that's really cool.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you talk about your process, like from application to when you get them on your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So this part of the senior rep team and like business wise is a huge deal to me. I take the application launch very, very seriously and I go in on the planning and just like hyping it up. So what I also kind of teach some of my other photographers is that you kind of treat the application launch as a like full on launch of like a product almost. And so I will actually create a shoot leading up to application launch time just to like create specific content, kind of like to brand the launch of the con or the of the con. I like to wait. Let me backtrack. I like I like to brand kind of like the theme for going into applications launching, just to like really make it a big deal.
What do
So
you do specifically for that?
yeah, so okay, well I guess let me backtrack too. So I like to launch my applications at the beginning of the year, so like January timeframe is typically
Okay.
when I do it. I've dabbled in like different times of the year and I just kind of prefer doing it January 1st. It kind of makes for a good, just like starting off the year strong. So what I do when I go into like my whole content shoot for the launch is I will create a whole plan of social media content that I want to record, so like reels, TikToks. I also will kind of just like nail down the theme that I want to go for with what kind of content I want to do, just like the styling of it all. And so this is kind of like an extra like bonus shoot for my team as well. They get to come and like be a part of this whole like advertising campaign basically. And so
Okay.
it gives them the content to share, but also the content for me to share as well leading up to it. So I like to create a lot of the hype leading up to applications launching, and then kind of carrying it out through to when applications close. But yeah, I really make a big deal about leading up to the launch day.
Yeah, that's so good. And then do you kind of tease on social media like the applications are gonna be opening
Oh yeah,
before
yeah.
they
So
open?
yeah, absolutely. I typically start teasing about it in November, and then
Oh,
once
wow.
December hits, yeah, it's early.
Okay.
I once December hits, that's when I start saying like applications open January 1st. I know it's Christmas time, all the things are going on, but I spend all of December hyping up applications to launch on January 1st.
How many applications do you usually get?
It really depends. This past year, I think I had like 60 applications and I accepted 27 girls onto the team. And this is by
Wow.
far my largest team. But I also kind of went through this transition of moving cities over the like 2 years ago. So I kind of had to start over, which has been really fun to kind of like dig deeper into it and just like try new things. But yeah, I would say and when I first started, obviously it was very, very low numbers. But yeah, this past year I had about 60.
Wow, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
How long do you keep the applications open for?
So I like to keep applications open for 2 weeks. In
Oh,
the
that's
past,
all.
yeah,
Okay.
I do 2 weeks. In the past, I would do 2 weeks, and then I would say like, well, going into it, I knew I was gonna leave them open for 3 weeks, but I would say 2 weeks, and then be like, oh, surprise, we're gonna leave it open for one more week for all those last
Mm,
minute people coming in, because you know everybody likes to wait till the very last second to apply.
yes.
At least in my case, they always wait until like the last day. So yeah, I've done. I think like the first year I did it, I left them open like all spring, kind of like a rolling application. But I've really found that I really love doing the just like shorter time frame. One for my personal sake because I hate saying no to people. So if I can like compress the amount of applications coming in, then it makes it just a little bit easier. But you know, it is
Yeah.
always hard saying no to people. So I should
Yeah.
just give it a shorter time frame.
So how do you keep in touch with the girls and make it where when it comes to their time to get on the team? Because if you do the applications in January, they still have like a whole few months before they're actually on the team, and you don't want to just be like, oh, surprise, like it's time.
Yeah.
So how do you stay in touch with them?
So what I do, so January is like my time frame for the applications being open, and then they close like midway. I spend the rest of January contacting the parents, making sure we're all good to go, and then 1st of February is when I do my welcome box delivery. I'm one thing to know about me is I'm going to be very dramatic and do all the things. So I
I love
actually will go, I go door to door to everybody's houses to surprise the girls. So they actually don't know that they've made the team until that day. So I'm obviously in contact with the parents. The parents know what's going on, but I try to tell them to keep it a surprise for them. Sometimes they know, but it's fine. Yeah, so February is my time to go and deliver all the boxes, make sure everybody finishes up their payments and that we're all good to go. And then also kind of like end of February, early March is when they will choose their personal senior session date. And so these will start in the summer and go through all the way through like next spring. And I try to like sprinkle those session dates out across the year so that we're, still leaving spaces open for regular senior sessions, but the senior reps obviously get first dibs on those dates. And then in April, so actually this is something new that I've done this year, is I hosted a field day for the team. And actually was for my current team and the new team coming in. So it's kind of a way for them to both interact and get to know each other, break the ice before we have our meet and greet party in May, like into May, early June. So that's kind of my time frame. It's like kind of like one or two things a month. But I just have like a group chat with the girls. I've done it just as a text message. I've done it as an Instagram group chat. I've done group me. But I think the just like text messages, like regular
Mhm.
group chat works best. Unless somebody doesn't have an iPhone, then it like messes it
Yeah.
up, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so any sort of group
Okay.
chat is just how I connect with the girls and talk with them and kind of let them know that that's a space where they can chat with each other and talk about anything they want, really.
That's so cool. I love that. I do want to talk more about how you surprise your girls because that's actually the video I found you from. You
Oh,
posted like a vlog of surprising your girls on YouTube, and I found you and wanted to know more about that because I'm like still trying to figure out how I want to do the application process. Do
yeah.
you hop on calls with the parents or like how do you communicate with the parents and get them to agree
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like
So
keep it a secret?
right, right. I pretty much do everything through email. If a parent wants to hop on a call and like talk through details, of course, like I will hop on a call with them. But for the most part, I just list everything out in emails. I have a whole like email automation set up in Honeybook that I use and, have corrected over time. But I really try to educate them as much as possible on the front end so that they know exactly what they're getting into, exactly what's promised, what they're going to get out of it, what their requirements are. So yeah, I will talk to the parents beforehand, and it's pretty much all just through email. So yeah.
Okay, wow. And so, can you kind of go through like a little outline of what the first email is that you would send to the parents?
Sure. Yeah. So the first email that I send them is just a like subject line is like KMP senior rep team and this is a surprise, like exclamation
Okay.
marks, capital letters, just so that they know. And then the email just kind of goes through. I'm just saying like, hey, my name is Kelsey. I'm a Richmond like local senior photographer. I'm sure you've heard about this, but your daughter, let's say Samantha, has applied to my senior rep team, and I would love, love, love to have her as a part of the team. And then my next line says something like, this is a complete surprise. If you can keep it from her, please do. And then I go into some just like detailed information about specific dates, about payments. What else do I talk about? The welcome box, and like that date and kind of prepping for a timeline, just so that they have all those things up front, and kind of prepare for them. So the email is
Mhm.
like pretty long, but it goes through all the details and pretty much answers any questions that they might have. But of course, some people are going to have questions no matter what. So there is a bit of emailing back and forth just to get, everybody set. But then I have the parents pay their first deposit up front and then they're set to go.
Okay. And then after they pay, is that when you kind of discuss with them, pick a day that's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
to deliver their boxes?
So I try to do the delivery dates or the delivery box it. Let me backtrack. I try to do the welcome boxes all on one day, which is a
Okay.
lot. Like this, back in February when I did this incoming teams, I think it was like an 8 or 9 hour day of me driving around Richmond, delivering all the boxes. But of course, like, it's hard to make sure everybody's going to be available on the same day. So if I need to do a few, like the week leading up to it, I just will tell the girls that like, hey, like the big day is on Saturday. If you could just wait to post about it until then, like that'd be great. But you could, of course, do them like sprinkle them over a week. I just like to do them all one day because it's just easier for
Yeah, I
me.
feel like that probably keeps it a surprise too because the girls are gonna talk and
Oh, yeah,
well, I guess the other girls wouldn't know if they were accepted or not, but
that's true.
that's yeah. I
Yeah, but
like
I
that
also just
strategy.
I kind of like the hype of it all being on one day. I've kind of made it
Mhm.
a tradition where like the morning of, I always use these pink cardboard boxes as their welcome boxes. So I'll like post a picture like that Saturday morning. It's like, you know what day it is, and everybody knows
Oh.
now like what the pink boxes mean. So
Oh,
it's kind of I try to like create these little traditions that just like really make the girls excited every year. So I
mhm.
think that's one of those fun little things that have kind of just become a thing.
Yeah, I love that. That creates so much excitement around your
Yeah.
team and probably helps so much with the marketing itself too. Like people are just going to be talking about it more because of
Yeah.
that excitement. So,
Absolutely.
can you talk about your field day? Because that sounds really cool. I seen you posted a little bit about it, but I'm really curious, like how that went.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So it was actually this past weekend, so like 3 days ago.
Oh,
But
wow.
I would say like by far my favorite thing I've ever done for my teams. Um, a lot of times going into the like incoming team, I just like the first thing that really kicks it off is their meet and greet party. And kind of going into that can always be a little bit awkward, especially if the girls don't know each other, because everybody's just coming in like a room and then they sit
Mhm.
down and it's like, oh, this is awkward. So it was really, really fun. I mean, this was kind of my purpose going into the field day was to just really break the ice early on before we have the meet and greet party. And I really wanted to kind of like use the current team that I have as like mentors for the girls coming in. A lot of my girls will say that my team is like a little sorority. So we kind of
Oh,
ran with that. And so we had the current team, the 2025 team, as the bigs, and then they got to induct their littles of the incoming team. Into the group, into the team. So we started with that with the girls, just introducing the new girls. And then we went into just some fun relay races, some different like team bonding type of races and games, and then just
what
spent some
did, sorry,
time.
what did your current girls do to introduce the newer girls? To kind of
Yeah,
mentor them, what kind of things did they do?
yeah. So I hosted like a little grad party for my current team right before we did our spring photo shoot a few weeks ago. And so I had the girls make little signs with the new girls'
Oh,
names on them. So they got to run out and be like, my little is X, Y, and Z. And so it just like created
oh,
this
okay.
feeling of, inclusion and community. I don't know. It was really fun. I had the girls all come up with like a team name, team captain, like a team chant. It was really, really fun.
That is so cute. Yeah. How
Yeah.
many girls did you end up having at your field day?
Oh my gosh. What's 24 plus 11? 35. 35, right?
Um,
Is that mathing?
should we double check?
Let me double check that. 24
My
plus,
husband would be so
yeah,
embarrassed by
35.
this.
35.
Okay.
When they put me on the spot, I don't know.
I know.
Okay, so I'll go back. I'll say I'll have 35 girls.
I might keep that in there.
Yeah. Show
That
the
was funny.
blonde coming out.
I don't have an excuse. I'm not blonde.
Hey, we're creative people. We don't do math.
Yeah, we don't do math.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had 35 girls come between the both teams, and it was just amazing. One of my friends who's a videographer also came, and he is a man. And so when he got there, I was like, get ready for a whole bunch
Oh.
of girl. We had like glitter face paint. We were all dressed in
Hmm.
neon, everything pink and like fun. So he was like, this is very different for me.
Yeah,
But
I
he loved
bet.
it. So I can't wait to like share that recap video when he's ready with it.
I know, I'm excited. Did you have a dress code for the girls?
I
Or how
did.
did you
So
prepare them for the field day?
yeah, so one thing that I do for every single thing that I do with my team is that I prep them with some sort of mood board, or if it's a shoot, I send them a full style guide with like every single detail they need to know. So going into the field day, sorry, I I gave them a kind of just like a mood board of like fun little outfits to wear. I had told them to wear neon, just athletic clothes. Obviously, I told them going into it, we'd be playing games, running, like wear tennis shoes. But I also I'm an over preparer, over communicator with the team, which I think is important, especially with high schoolers. So I just went ahead and made like a little mood board just with like cute little Lululemon outfits. I don't know, just like fun, like
Mhm.
neon athletic clothes. So, and they all showed up and they were on it and it looked so good.
Mhm. Cute. Okay. How do you continue to keep up that excitement and momentum through the year with your team?
Yeah, so I like to do a lot of experiences with my team. So like along with the shoots, I'm also doing fun, just like hangout days with the girl. I call them date days. So we'll
Oh,
like
that's
go get
cute.
dinner together. We'll like go to the mall. This year I'm gonna
Wow.
do like a once a month coffee date mornings where the girls can just come
Oh.
and like do homework or just hang out. So I think creating those experiences that are outside of the team shoots really just creates that kind of just, well, it creates a bond between the team, but also will kind of create that FOMO feeling for the girls who are not on the team, whether it's other seniors like wanting to come work with me for a senior session or juniors, leading up to application launch. Just so it's like everybody's posting about it too. So, just creates that FOMO feeling, which I think keeps the momentum going and gets people excited.
Do you find it difficult to do things with such a big group of girls? Like, do you bring 20 something people to the mall?
Well, I haven't yet. I haven't brought that many. My current team, the class of 2025, only has 16 people on the team, but I mean,
Okay.
it is a lot. It is a lot going into like a dinner. So like if we are going out somewhere, I try to we'll make a reservation ahead of time. I do feel like a little mom, like bringing my kids to the mall
Yeah.
and like walking around. But honestly, I love it. I live for that. I just kind of just feel like a big sister in a way. But yeah, I think it's just fun to bring them together and do different things like that.
For the dinner, do you pay for everyone's dinner?
So yeah, I get that question a lot. It depends on how big the group is. If it's
Mm,
everybody, I typically will not unless it's like something more low key. If it's a smaller group of girls, like 5 or 6 of them, then yes, I will pay for their dinner. But yeah, kind of will just depend on the day, how many of them are there, where we're at, or if I've planned for it in the budget.
yeah. Okay. So do you ask them to like RSVP so you know how many girls to plan for coming?
I do, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for
Wow.
sure.
So I'm curious what you would say like the pros and cons are of having a really big team because I've been trying to decide how big I want my team to be this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm scared to have a big team because it seems like a lot.
Yeah, I really went back and forth this year on like how many I was going to accept because I had more applications this year than I ever have. So I definitely was like on that line of like, oh, like I kind of want to keep it smaller, but I also would love to kind of test out what a huge team would feel like. So far, I'm really, really loving it, especially post the field day. Everybody really got along. Everybody had such a great time. So I might have a better answer for you come like a few months down the road.
Yeah.
But so far I'm really loving it. But I would say like pros and cons. Pros would be that obviously you have a lot more people talking about your business. You have a lot
Mhm.
more girls to work with and kind of get creative with. Cons, I would say, I might not be able to get to know each and every one of them as well as I have like in the past, which is obviously a con, because that's like one of the big things that I really love doing. I would also say a con is that they have filled up my calendar so quickly. Well, I guess it's like a pro and a con. I mean, I'm currently booked out through the rest of the year pretty much. I have like a few little random dates sprinkled in, but just because they've already been posting about the team, I've had
Oh, wow.
other class of 2026 seniors coming in. So yeah.
Mhm.
Also, if anybody is saying that senior rep teams are dead, they are absolutely not dead. They are thriving. So let
Mhm.
this be your encouragement to, go big if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I also really loved having a small team. It makes it easier too on scheduling.
Yeah.
Easier to get together like 10 people than it is 27 people on the same date. But yeah, I really think
Okay.
they're like it weighs kind of equally.
Yeah, yeah, it was really inspiring to me to see how big your team was because I was like, okay, maybe I should second guess because I decided on a small team and then I seen how fun your field day looked and I was like, wait, that
Yeah,
looks
well,
fun.
you can always add on.
Yeah, yeah. What do you include in your team when you're kind of like pushing your team out, trying to get applications and stuff? What do you explain comes with being a senior rep?
Yeah, so in their collection is what I call it. I promise 4 group shoots with the team. So I do the like summer kickoff shoot, we do a fall photo shoot, a spring, and then the like end finale as their cap and gown shoot. So those are the 4 that I promise. I also promise the meet and greet party, which is basically just our time to come together. I explain the team to them, kind of go over all the things, just like a time to kind of hang out. And then I do say in there that I do a bunch of mini shoots throughout the year. I don't give a number on that because really it just depends on the year. But
Hmm.
at least they know that there will be extra opportunities for photo shoots. Some of them may not be as big as like the group photo shoots, but they are still included. They also get their personal senior session with me, which I give them my what I call the classic collection. And so this also includes the senior keepsake album. And this is, well, you can kind of see it up here if you're watching the
Hmm.
podcast. So this is just their album with all their images from either their senior session, or they can include all the pictures from, the whole year, even through the group shoots. And then, what else do I say? I also promise them one shoot with a boutique, at least one shoot where they get to go and pick their clothes from a local boutique, which is always really fun. They get that extra like modeling experience,
Hmm.
and yeah, they also get referrals when they bring in or referral rewards when they bring in referrals to
What is
someone.
your reward?
So I have a kind of like a referral system. So it's like if they bring in, I think it's like the first two girls, they get like a Sephora gift card. If they bring in
Oh,
four girls, or maybe like the first one's like a Starbucks or Chick-fil-A card. It's like a lower tier. And then if they bring in
okay.
like four, then it like bumps up to like Sephora. And then I think it's six, it's Lululemon. And then if it's like 8 plus, it's like extra money back as a reward.
Okay, and do you usually get a lot of referrals, and how do you track those?
So I would say the tracking portion is really hard
Hmm.
because everybody's posting on Instagram, and a lot of times like girls will see it on Instagram, but not necessarily like know the
Yes.
rep. So on my questionnaire that I send out to all my seniors when they book with me, one of the questions is like, how did you hear about me? If you heard about me from a specific senior rep, mark their name here. And so sometimes people will mark their name, but that's how I track it. It's just through the questionnaire. A lot of times though, they just will say like through Instagram, and so it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I have that same problem. I was wondering if someone else has a solution or a
Yeah,
different way.
I think there's definitely ways to do it, probably track it a little bit better. But yeah, I definitely have most of the girls bring in like at least two that I know specifically
Okay,
of.
that's a lot actually for having a lot of girls too. If each of them
Yeah,
even brought one, that's quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, it is a lot. I mean, this my team and through Instagram, which I kind of have just lumped together now,
Yeah.
is my number one way that I've been bringing in seniors.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you're comfortable, can you talk about your pricing strategy? You don't have to share exact prices if you don't want to, but just like how you go about it, because I know some people will charge like the price of senior photos or more than senior photos or
Yeah.
like senior photos plus prints.
Mm, right. So I've tested out a few kind of different ways. What I'm currently doing and loving is that I charge the same fee that I charge for my basic senior session. Or wait, no, it's the classic. Let me backtrack. Pause. Okay. So the way that I charge for my senior rep team is I basically just charge what I do for like a regular senior session, which I do my classic collection. And so I actually only offer two senior sessions or two different collections. One is the basic without the album, and then the other one is the classic with the album. But they include the same amount of hours, outfits, locations. It's just the difference in if they want an album or not. And then, of course, if they want to add on like prints, other product after that, they can. But yeah, for the team, I word it as you just pay for your senior session. In the past, I've done like a little bit more than what I was charging. And so I would say like I think my wording would like I tried to make it cute and fun. I was like a senior session and a pair of Lululemon leggings is
Oh.
like what you're paying for.
Mm.
But yeah, I think there's definitely different ways to go about it that can be really profitable for you. But I've just found that it's kind of just like makes it more like it's less confusing for the parents coming into it because of course they're coming into it as like their student is still a senior or a junior. So the whole like concept of senior pictures is still kind of foreign to them. So
Yeah.
I try to really make it just super easy to understand and try not to make it too complicated for them.
Yeah. What do you do if a girl can't make it to a shoot? Is it
Yeah, so
just like a bonus?
I
Sorry.
tell them, no, no, that's totally good. So I tell them that the four group shoots are required. If they can't make
Oh.
it to one of those shoots, it's no big deal. Like it's like I tell them it's required because I want them all to be there. But if
Hmm.
they can't make it because they have, I don't know, like a sports game or like family reunion, it's totally fine. really.
Okay.
But they aren't able to like make it up.
Okay.
So if they miss it, they miss it. But that's why I do those extra mini shoots, that they still have opportunities to come and, be a part of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good because in the past I've felt like I really had to make up if somebody couldn't make it to a shoot, and then I'm ending up doing like so many little
Oh
shoots
my gosh.
throughout the year. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
really good. Um, what do you typically look for when you go through your applications? Is there certain things that you look for to kind of create the type of vibe that you want on your team?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple things that I look for. My first thing that I look for is if they're actually like giving me solid answers, which I guess sounds kind of lame, but it's like if you are looking at your applications and there are a few girls who are giving you like a one sentence answer, they're probably not going to give you their all when it comes to the shoots, and maybe they will. Some people are just a little bit more shy when it comes to that kind of stuff, but that is one thing that I look for, and I kind of will say that in talking about applications launching, is to like really give me like all the details, like tell me all the things. So that's
Okay.
one thing that I look for. Another thing that I look for is if they sound really bubbly in their answers and like kind of have a big personality. A lot of my shoots are kind of big and out there. They can be sometimes. So I kind of just look for that in their personalities, which of course it's hard to tell a personality through an application. Is one thing I kind of look out for. And then I also, one of my questions asks like kind of what their personal style is and where they like to shop. I have a very girly pink like colorful brand, and a lot of my shoots are that way as well. So I kind of just like to make sure that when we are going into the group shoots, are they going to have like somewhat of a similar style? Are they going to be okay with like getting super dressed up? And so that's one thing I like to keep an eye out for. I feel like there's a lot of things that I like to look out for, so I'll tell you one more. Um, but one of the other things is like how involved they are within their schools or community, like what extracurriculars they're doing. And I actually like to have the girls on the team who are like doing all the things. Yes, it can be tricky with schedules, but if I see that they're really involved with like a lot of things at their school, or like a big like dancer, those are some things that I like in my mind. I'm like, okay, they're giving it their all for all these other things. I know that they'll come into this being, open to giving it their all, being responsible.
That's so
And
good.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, those are just some of my like kind of key points that I like to look for.
Yeah, that was really helpful. What are some of your favorite shoot themes or events that you've done in the past with your girls?
Oh my gosh. Well, number one would be the field day. I'm just like not gonna shut up about that for the rest of the year. It was so fun. But I would say probably my like most popular one and like always a fan favorite. I like to do a really big Christmas shoot, or some sort of like winter. It's typically Christmas themed, which is technically a mini shoot that I give them, but I always tend to go like all out for it. But I think they get really excited about it because I also turn it into kind of like a Christmas party. So we'll do like Secret Santa after the shoot, just kind of like, or like go out to lunch or something. So I would say that's always a fan favorite. One that I did this past year that I'm definitely going to do coming into this year is we did a senior jeans shoot. And so all the girls painted. Have you heard about senior jeans?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's become a big thing here, like on the East Coast. And so seniors will just get a pair of jeans and they will paint like senior, like class of 2025
That's
on the jeans.
cute.
And so
Aw,
they'll wear them to like football games. I mean, a lot of people are wearing them for their senior pictures for like a couple photos. So
wow.
we did a big team senior jean photo shoot. Went, I'm not gonna say viral because it definitely did not go viral on Instagram, but like one of my top posts like ever.
Okay. Did
People
you
loved it.
did you decorate the jeans together or they just already had them?
So the plan going into it was to do it all together. We ended up not being able to find a date that just kind of like worked
Oh.
everybody. It was a little bit of
Mhm.
a last minute, not thrown together, but just like a little bit last minute coordinating it. So I just had everybody paint their jeans on their own. But I think some of the girls did get together like in their friend
Oh,
groups,
fun.
and painted them together. So yeah, but this year going into it, I'm definitely planning it as a big group activity.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
And so did you say that was like one of your mini shoots? That's not a main thing you
yeah.
do?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
mini one. Kind of my thought process for the start of the year is to go all in and do as many shoots as possible during the summer. But that's when I do
Mhm.
the like majority of my mini shoots because most people are home. Obviously, they're not in school. And so if I can hit the ground running at the start of their like team, I think it just keeps the momentum going, kind of going back to our other question. Gets the momentum going, keeps them going throughout the year, but also helps on the business side because people start seeing all that content throughout the summer to book for fall sessions, going into spring sessions. So
Okay.
try to just get as much done throughout the summer as possible, and then I'll throw in a few little mini shoots throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, summer's a big time for me.
So do you book the majority of your regular senior clients through the year then instead of in the summer?
Yeah, well, I would say it's a mix of both. I would say summer is definitely my most popular time for senior sessions, and
Okay.
then going into the fall. I would say spring is always like the people that are like last minute panicking, being like, "Oh my gosh, I need to book like my senior session." Yeah, summer's definitely my most popular. So I really don't have a summer break. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
But I do. I spend a lot of time in the summer shooting. But then it also gives me time to have a break, in the winter.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna ask, do you ever feel burnt out from all of the extra and all of the little things that you do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do. But I also love it at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, at least here on the East, like in Virginia, we definitely have like slow seasons for like winter, like into fall. Or like into fall going into winter, we don't have like any sessions going on. So I really take that time to really rest, soak up as much time as I can rotting on my couch. But I definitely do get burnt out, and I think that's kind of just a common theme for anybody doing seniors, especially because I do seniors full time. They're pretty much the only thing that I shoot now. So it is a lot of getting out of the house every single day to go to a shoot. Not every single day, but most days of the week to go to a senior session. But I think well, to backtrack, I also don't shoot on the weekends. I only
Oh,
do senior
nice.
sessions during the week. Yeah, I will for my group photo shoots, like the big ones. I will do those on a weekend just because it's easier to get the whole team there. But yeah, I don't do any sessions on the weekend at all. So I really take my weekends to like not even touch my laptop, and that's always really revives me, going into the next week.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Is it ever hard to schedule weekdays with seniors?
I have never had a problem. The only time that it gets a little tricky is going into like later fall, like when the time changes, just for people who have
Mhm.
sports. But yeah, I've never had an issue with people wanting to, doing a weekday.
Yeah, okay. So how would you say starting your senior rep team has impacted your photography business?
Oh my gosh, it has impacted it in so many ways. It has allowed me to niche down to just doing seniors. I occasionally do brand sessions on like slowly. But
Hmm.
seniors are my main thing. It allowed me to stop doing weddings, which I loved doing weddings, but at the same time, I hated missing out on family things happening on a weekend or hanging out with friends on a weekend, especially during like while I was in college. That was a big thing. Yeah, it's really allowed me to just kind of have the freedom of having a weekend and kind of having almost a regular weekly schedule, where I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays I have a senior session, and then I can kind of have like a normal workflow. But yeah, it's allowed me to do what I'm most passionate about and what I really love the most.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned having a workflow because that's huge. When you
Yeah,
can really get into a schedule, I feel like you become more productive. And
yes,
then it's like, even though you do take on a lot, it's so much easier to do
yes.
when you
And
know
once
what you're doing.
yeah, and once you get in the routine of it, it's just like you can kind of do things like automatically, like you don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, one last question for you for if somebody listening wants to start their team, what action step would you tell them to do right now today if they have never had a senior rep team?
Yeah, I would say start creating content with multiple seniors. I'm gonna say girls because I only have a girl team, but you can also have boys on your team. But if you can get like, even if it's just like asking your neighbor to, like, if their daughter has a few friends, if they want to come out and do like a quick little shoot with you, just start posting that you are working with multiple people, and then so start creating content, I would say one, and then two, get your name into the schools. I feel like that is
Oh, yeah.
kind of the biggest way to reach high schoolers. Obviously because like Instagram Meta, you can't advertise to them now. So I think really getting your name out there, and like in their crowds is super, super important. And then I'll say step number 3 is to create a personal brand. I found that when I really like got my personal brand nailed down, and like branding for my whole like business is really when I took off. Just showcasing who you are, how they can connect with you on a more personal level instead of you just being like this business front, really I think is what changed the game for me. So I would say those 2 steps will get you started.
That's so good. One follow-up question for your second step. How
Yeah.
would you recommend connecting with the school and getting
Yeah.
your name into the school?
Yeah, I know that's a great question. There's a couple ways that I've done it, and I think people can do it in general. One, I would say, are like prom homecoming photos, which I guess is like not directly with the school, but school
You're
related.
getting your name out there still, yeah.
Yeah. Prom homecoming photos are a big deal. I would also suggest, which I've also done, getting connected with like the sports teams, and doing like the team photos. And that's super simple. You don't have to do like the whole, you can if you want, but you don't have to do the big like light setups, the smoke, all that fun stuff. You can simply just go to like the field, do team photos, headshots for the team. And then, yeah, those would be like my 2 first ways to do it and the ways that I've done it. But there's also, I don't know, you can get connected volunteering. What is it called? Like PO, TA, parent
Oh,
teacher. Do you know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? But there's
Yeah.
other ways to like get involved with the school
Yeah.
to get your name out there. But yeah, as far as like photography wise, I would kind of go those 2 routes.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, can you share anything exciting you have coming up or any resources for photographers you want to share?
Yes, I actually would love to share a secret with your audience.
Ooh,
I have
okay.
not announced this anywhere yet. I've kind of like thrown out some hints, but I am actually launching a senior rep team course coming out this summer. So it will walk you through step 1 through step 100 of how to start a senior rep team, how to thrive in a senior rep team, how to be profitable with your senior rep team. So that's going to be coming out this summer, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, your audience is getting a little sneak peek, a little secret.
Ooh, I feel so
Yeah.
special. That's so
Yes,
exciting.
but I also have a template shop on my website. You can find me at kelseymariepphotography.net. Just click on that little shop tab, and I have some templates in there for senior rep team things and even just like senior photography business related things as well. So yeah, you can find me there.
That's so good. And then tell everyone where they can find you on socials.
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube. That's where I post educational content for senior photographers. All those videos are obviously 100% free. And then you can also find me on Instagram at kelseymarie.photo. And yeah, those are my biggest places.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Yay, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.